If your parent passed away and you're tasked with selling your parents' home, there's one thing that I want you to figure out before you start making plans for that sale. And that is, who actually has the legal right to sell that home? Because being the child or being named in a will or even having all of the siblings agree that the house should be sold does not necessarily mean you're ready to sell it. And this is something I really don't want you to find out after you already have a buyer. Hi, I'm Tina Veltri. I'm a realtor on Florida's Space Coast, and I help people buy, build, sell, and relocate. And over the years, I have helped numerous families navigate the process of selling their parents' home. So here's a true story. My buyers were purchasing a home where everyone believed that the seller had the authority to sell it, okay? And we went under contract. But then the title company found out that there was a problem. The seller did not actually file all of the paperwork and did not have the legal authority needed for the home to close. And so that changed our timeline. And my buyers couldn't wait, and they walked away from a beautiful home they loved. The transaction just fell apart, and we had to move on. Not to mention how the seller felt, as this is an emotional time already. And that's why when a family calls me about selling a parent's home, one of the first thing that I want to make sure is that they understand who truly has the legal authority to sell. If you're dealing with this right now, start by gathering all the documents. Maybe there's a will or a trust. Maybe there's a ladybird deed. Maybe someone else's name is on the deed. Those details matter, and they're exactly why I don't want you making assumptions about who has authority to sell the home. Just don't assume because your name is on the will or all of your siblings' names are on the will that you can just take that home and sell it tomorrow. Family agreement and legal authority are two separate things. So gather all your documents and get appropriate legal guidance so you'll know exactly where you stand. Now, I'm a realtor. I am not an attorney. I'm not going to give legal advice. I'm not going to interpret your will or your trust or your deed. But I have walked families through this process many, many times. And one of the first things I tell everyone is get the appropriate legal advice. Now, if you already know an attorney, great. If you don't, call me and I can recommend someone for you. You don't have to figure all of this out on your own. And just remember, talking to an attorney doesn't necessarily mean that you're signing up for some huge process. There are some attorneys that will do free consultations, and after getting the right legal advice, someone is able to really handle the certain paperwork that needs to be filed themselves. And I've had it happen. I had a seller who inherited 3 properties. He spoke with an attorney, understood what needed to be done, and was able to handle the necessary paperwork himself. And then I've had other families who've allowed the attorney to do all of the work for them. Every situation is different. And that's why I want you to go out and get the right legal advice for your situation first off, instead of trying to figure it out all on your own. And if you're thinking, I don't even know where to start, give me a call. I know it's hard. You're dealing with the loss of a parent, and now you've probably, gotten the house, you've got all this paperwork to go through, and so many decisions in front of you that you may not have ever had to deal with before, on top of all the emotions. So you don't need to have all this figured out before you call me. I've walked families through this time and time again. I can listen to what's going on, help you understand what you need to do to start thinking about the real estate side, and help get the right people involved. And while you're getting the legal side of the home figured out, we can start preparing for what eventually needs to happen to sell. But we're not going to put the home on the market until the legal issues are taken care of and we make sure that you have the authority to sell. But it doesn't mean we can't start getting prepared. That's one of the reasons I really like to get involved early. Don't assume anything. Find out. That's really what I want you to take away from this. If your parent has passed away and you're responsible for the home, don't assume you have the legal right to sell. And don't get stuck in all the emotions of, I just don't even know what to do first. I'm here and I can help you. If you're dealing with the loss of a parent right here on Florida Space Coast and you find that you are going to need to sell their home, you can schedule a Space Coast discovery call with me, even if you're nowhere near selling. And we'll start off with where you are and what you need to figure out and what needs to happen next. And if you're still researching, I put together a selling your parents' home guide. It will help you to understand the larger process and some of the things that you should be thinking about. And I'm going to put the link in the description below. If you have a question about selling the family home, please put it down in the comments. I promise to answer. And know that I am going to be doing several other videos on this topic. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tina Veltri. I'll see you on the next video.